Welcome to the ashestorubies podcast, conversational podcast where we talk about life and recovery and other stuff except sex.
Recovery concepts, codependency.
Yeah.
Talk about lots of stuff.
So I'm looking at the screen.
We've yet to talk about sex.
I see happy birthday. Okay, no. She's trying to bite your Kleenex.
Oh.
Happy birthday is over. Your birthday is no longer the birthday banners there.
No.
There are people that comment on how long our banners stay up.
This is my birthday week.
And then before that it was Jordan. So the birthday banner has been up for a long time.
This is my birthday week.
This is your birthday week.
You can take it down on Sunday.
I think you had a week before as well.
No, you can take it down on Sunday.
Okay.
You can take it down a week after my birthday.
Sunday? I want to take it down today.
No.
Hey, take it down right now.
No.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. What were we talking about? We had some stuff that we were just talking about. It was really interesting. I thought it was interesting. About busyness. Yeah. And about the concept of being available for people that need a listening ear. Like, are we available in our schedules, like on a daily basis, to field phone calls? And I know that we're not an emergency room, but like,
but if my schedule is too busy, then I don't have space or time to recognize if there's something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. And then I would need to reach out, right? If I'm not doing well, I need to reach out to someone else. So I need to have some like room in my schedule for that. Mm-hmm. But then I also am not available to take calls from others. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's a good practice. I think it's a spiritual practice of having time for others in case that phone calls come through or somebody needs a conversation about recovery or whatever it is. I'm reminded of that little, is it a slogan? Is it a poem at the end of 112-step fellowship that I'm a part of? It says, we always want the hand of A always to be there. And it's like, so is my hand available through a day or am I so busy?
So for me, I took a call yesterday from someone who I've been talking to pretty regularly.
Do you take a call or do you hear a call? Like, how do you take a call? Like, what does that mean? I took a call.
I took the call. I accepted the call.
I accepted charges. Remember those days?
So I took the call. I had the conversation with someone. And what I found was, as I was speaking to her, like the things that I'm saying are things that I need to hear. You know, it's like things that I need to be reminded of like, oh yeah, you know, oh, this is what my brain does to me. Like my brain tries to color everything in a negative way. Like if I have emotional things going on, which, you know, this has been a roller coaster of an emotional week. So if I've got things going on, then, you know, my brain will start to like color other things in a negative way. And so that was a really good reminder for me that it came to me as she was talking. I was like, oh, no. That's morbid reflection. You know, you're taking something and like you're spinning out it. And so how do we put a stop to that? Well, read these pages of the book and, you know, have you taken some time to ask God, what is it that I need to do tonight how can I rest? How can I slow down my mind and slow down what's happening inside of me? So those were really good reminders for me because I was like, I need to do that tonight. That's exactly what I need to do.
And so then busyness can be a form of pride where it's just, I'm busy. I don't have time for anything else. And yeah, that's really good how you brought that full circle of the spiritual practice or principle. Very good. And then our sad news at the roller coaster of the ride was we had to put little buddy down. I know he's been a star on our podcast. If you're on video, he is our 3-year-old pug who has a congenital liver disease and he's had lots of living problems. The day before he was in a photo shoot, he made an appearance. It was 300 degrees. His tongue was literally into here. And the next night we had to put him down. So that was super sad. And we were dealing with the ER doctor, and the ER doctor is trying to explain things to me, and I'm trying to like listen, and there's catheters involved. He couldn't pee. And just, it's all of a sudden, he was perfectly fine, and now he can't pee. And so...
Oh, but when they looked inside, they realized he wasn't perfectly fine.
All this stuff and infection, and it's like the doctor had to assess and do all the tests and then tell us all the information. And then we just decided for quality of life and not quantity of life. And so that's what we decided. I just realized I thought of doctors and nurses doing that to real people all day long. And we're like I don't want to wear a mask. I'm speaking of myself. And it's like all these little things, and these doctors are literally doing this with humans. And then I really reflected on God as our doctor, and God as the great physician that will fix us, that will heal us, that will transform us. And so that was my reflection on Buddy and his passing away. And then the other reflection is God, the spiritual principle of learning. And so I felt like God taught us how to love better through that little fur ball. Oh.
We need to quickly move on.
All right.
Because I'm okay right now, but I might not be for long.
At least
Still
we have
crying.
1 million pictures.
Still crying.
Of Buddy. Thank you guys. Okay, so it is August the 24th. We're going to do our meditation part. This is a concept that we'll bring into the rest of the day. And thank you for joining us. Would you bring this concept into the rest of your day as well? Somewhere along the line in our study of the 12-step program, we reach a sharp realization of the growth value, honesty, and candor. What's candor? Candor.
Speaking our minds.
Truth.
Being transparent.
Transparent,
yeah.
Truth. When this happens, one of the first things we're able to admit is that our behavior, like that of the alcoholic, this is the Al-Anon perspective, has been far from sane and reasonable. When we can do this without shame or embarrassment, we seem to break free of a hampering shell. This is progress. But let's not imagine that the 12 steps has done all it can do for us. Let's not imagine that God has done all he can do for us. We have reached a plateau. When we reach a plateau, we have to realize that there is still more heights to come to reach serenity and a full life, full abundant life. Today's reminder, if I ever come to the complacent conclusion that I don't need God or the 12 steps any longer, let me remind myself that it can do far more for me to carry me through the anguish of living with the problem of alcoholism or addiction. I know that is the true problem. I know I can make even greater strides in fulfilling myself for the 12 step is a philosophy, a way of life. I will never grow the need for it. Once I have overcome the problems that first brought me into the fellowship, I am confident that my continuing search for spiritual understanding will yield ever richer benefits.
I feel like complacency is a really good place to start with that reading. Because complacency kills us. Like if I get passive, or if I'm taking the easy route, or I just want to sit back and relax, I've worked really hard and I got to this place in my recovery and, oh man, I'm doing so good and I've learned all this stuff.
Look at me go.
And then I just move on and then life can take over and then I don't understand. All of a sudden I have all these problems again. And how did this happen?
So then they're saying the antidote to complacency is honesty. And so where do I start with honesty in my recovery process, my recovery program? I have to, number one, I think I have to be honest in step one, which says I'm powerless. So I'm powerless over this substance. I have no power of choice anymore. And that my life is unmanageable. So I have to be honest of I'm trying to manage my spiritual condition, the stuff that was already in me before I started drinking. Drinking actually managed all that. And drinking isn't why my life is unmanageable. To be honest, my life was unmanageable before I started drinking, and then I became powerless over the drink, and you became powerless over the alcoholic. And so I think that's where the first step requires vigorous honesty of like what my true problem. So my true problem is within me. It's not everyone or everything outside of me. I have to be honest, and the antidote to complacency is honesty. I think that's good because after I be honest, then complacency can creep in. And I'm like, nah, I don't need to do what they're doing. They're in early recovery.
sometimes it's really hard to see where I'm not being honest. And, you know, especially
me.
when I'm defensive and I don't want other people telling me. You know, my layers of self-protection are so thick often, and it can take a lot to go to someone and say, like, are we good? I feel like, did I do something? What's happening here?
Good. All right. May you take that with you today, that the antidote to complacency is honesty. Keep the peace, be of good behavior, and love someone like a pug would love you. That doesn't mean lick people, but, you know, be attentive.